Dear students of class 12th, Assalamu alaikum. Hope you are fine. Our today's topic for discussion is a poem titled My Mother at 66, written by Kamla Das. Let me give you a brief introduction about the writer, that is Kamla Das. Kamla Das was born in 1934 and she died in 2009. She was born in Malabar, Kerala. She is recognized as one of India's foremost poets. Her works are known for their originality, versatility, and the indigenous flavor of the soil. Kamla Das has published many novels and short stories in English and Malayalam under the name Mad Havikuti. Mad Havikuti. Some of her works in English include the novel Alphabet of Lust in 1977, a collection of short stories, Padmavati the Harlot, and other stories in 1992. In addition to five books of poetry, she is a sensitive writer who captures the complex subtleties of human relationship in a lyrical idiom. My Mother at 66 is an example. Before we will go through the poem, let me give you a detailed summary of the poem. Let me tell you the summary of the poem. Dear students, in this poem, the poet relates a personal experience, though it she brings out a common paradox of human relationships. Sometimes we do feel deep sympathy for someone, but we fail to express it in a proper manner. Dear students, it was Friday morning. The poet was driving from the parents' home to the Cochin airport. Her mother was sitting beside her in the car. The mother was then 66 years old. While going, the poet turned to look at her mother. She found that the mother was dozing and her mouth was open. Her face was as pale as that of a dead person. The poet painfully realized that her mother looked very old and she would not live long. But soon she drove his painful show but she drove this painful thought away from her mind. She started looking at the young trees on the roadside that seemed to be running fast. She saw children running out of their houses in joy. After reaching the airport, the poet went through the security check. Her mother was standing outside a few yards away. After the security check, the poet again looked at her mother from that distance. The mother's face was pale white. It was pale as the face of the moon in the late winter. The poet felt an old familiar ache in her body. It was like she used to feel in her childhood when someone fear overpowered her. Yet she spoke no word to her mother. All that she said was, "See you soon, Amma." The only thing the poet did was smile and smile and smile. This was summary of the poem. Now let me explain uh, the lines of the poem. Before we go through the poem, we are being asked that before you read, aging is a natural process. Have you ever thought what our elderly parents expect from us? Yes, our elderly parents expect respect, love, our self introspection from us. They expect love from us. They expect respect from us. They expect sympathy from us. They expect our self introspection from us. These are the things which our these elderly parents expect from us. Now let us start. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me, doors open, mouthed her face, ashen like that of a corpse, and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked. Here are some words. Beside means next to, or we can say at the side of. Now there is another word that is doze. Doze means to sleep for a short time, so to sleep lightly for a short time. Now there is another word that is ashen. That is the ashen means very pale, without color because of illness or fear. Corpse means dead body of a human. He now writer here says the right says that the poet recalls the day when she was driving from her parents' home to Cochin, where she has to catch a flight. She was to catch a flight. The poet recalls the day when she was driving from her parents' home to Cochin, where she was to catch a flight. It was a Friday morning, and her mother was also sitting by her side. She was going to the airport to see off the poet, but when the poet turned to look at her mother, she found her dozing. She found her mother dozing. Her mouth was open, and her face looked very pale, like that of a corpse. That says that a painful thought came to the poet's mind. A painful thought came to the poet's mind. She realized that her mother was looking as old as she was. Acha. Now, but soon, but soon, put that thought away. But soon put that thought away and look but soon put that thought away and looked out at young trees spreading, the merry children spiling out of their homes, but after the airport security check standing a few yards. But soon put that thought away and looked out at young trees sprinting, the merry children spiling out of their homes, but after the airport security check standing a few yards away, I looked again at her, yawn pale. Here are some words. Sprint means running very fast. Merry means happy and cheerful. Spelling means coming out in large numbers. Dear students, the poet soon drew away from her mind. The poet, the poet soon drew away from her mind, but soon put the thought away. That means the poet soon drew away from her mind that the thought of her mother's pale and aged face. She started she started looking out at the young trees that seemed to be running fast. She looked at the children running out of their homes, out of their houses in joy. At last they reached the airport, and the poet went through the security check. The right says that the poet went through the security check. Now, this mother standing a few yards away, she looked at now standing a few yards away from her mother. The poet, looked at her mother's face once again. It is to be noted that the poet had not spoken a word to her mother all through the drive, and even now she just looks at her from a distance. Perhaps it is a sad reflection of how indifferent the modern youth have grown towards their aged elders. As a late winter's moon, now these are the lines from the poem and last lines, and as a late winter's moon and felt that old familiar ache, my children's my childhood sphere, but all I said was see you soon, Amma, and I did was smile and smile and smile, smile and smile and smile. Right says that after the security check, the poet looked at her mother, who was standing a few yards away outside. The mother looked very pale and weak. Her face looked pale, white, like that the face of late winter's moon. The poet felt in her body an old familiar ache. It says that the poet felt in her body, an old familiar ache. It was like she used to feel in her childhood when some fear overpowered her. Still, she spoke no word to her mother. The only thing she said was, see you soon, Amma. See you soon, Amma. See you soon, Amma. All she did was smile and smile and smile. It says that all that the poet did was smile and smile and smile. These lines convey the idea that youngers do feel for their children, for their elders. These lines convey the idea that the youngers do feel for their elders, but they do not communicate it properly. Thank you very much.